Okay. So Jeffrey, you were responsible for the Final Destination franchise and so many more contributions to horror and countless many other things. So take me on a journey of your journey.
Oh, a journey on my journey. My journey started in eastern Kentucky, where I grew up watching horror movies, loving horror films. I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 14, and went home and banged out a prequel idea for a Nightmare on Elm Street, and sent it to Bob Shea in New York. And that actually started a friendship when I was 14. Where him and his assistant Joy Mann, they would send me scripts, they would send me movie merchandising. They just kept me really passionate about horror. And then when I was 19, I went to New York for the summer to study acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and got an internship at New Line Cinema. Ended up staying at New Line and worked there for 11 years, and they produced my first film, which was Final Destination. And I stayed working at New Line until I sold the story for the second one. And then I decided to leave the company and be a big boy writer, and have just been working in the genre ever since. But also kind of have worked in, did some dabbling in cartoon writing and worked on a couple network shows. So it's just been a great career. I'm sorry if I look worn out. I'm just jet lagged from flying from Los Angeles to Tampa.
Oh, when did you arrive?
Last night.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm still getting used to the time difference. But having a great time down here in Tampa at their comic convention. So yeah, it's a really good time.
Indeed. And speaking of internships, they're so important, especially since they lead you into so many great things like Final Destination with my internship too. And so, why is it most important for people to get internships, paid or unpaid?
It's always just good to get experience. You get experience, you learn how the business works. I mean, it helped me working at a studio to see how many decisions on which movies got made weren't based on the script itself. So sometimes you get a great script that came in, and then you get a really bad script that came in with a big actor attached, and they would go with the big script with a bad actor. So that helped me a lot, so that I didn't take everything so personally, and I wasn't crushed every time my script got rejected because I knew it wasn't always about the script. So I think it's just, you just learn invaluable, no matter what field you go into. Like internships just help you learn a lot. Hopefully there's a lot less free ones now, because sometimes that can be a little bit too much, where you're doing a lot of work for no money. But I think a lot of internship programs have changed over the years, so I think there's just a lot of benefit you can get from just getting experience working for companies and seeing how the business side of things is run, because we're often just focused on the creative side.
Big time. And I love Final Destination with Devin and Tony and everything like that. And tell me about some amazing stories from the first Final Destination.
My favorite part was just going to set. There was a cameo that was shot. It didn't make the final cut of the movie, but I played a security guard. So I got to be in a scene with all the kids that were getting on the plane. So that was a lot of fun. And then also we had a premiere in my hometown. So my family got to come to that. That was really special, sharing that with, again, the small town in Kentucky I grew up with. And also I got to take my English teacher, who was a big inspiration to me. We brought her to New York, and I promised her in high school, like, if I ever got a movie made, I'd bring her to the premiere. And she loved Rosie O'Donnell, so I got to bring her to the premiere. And also we were on the Rosie O'Donnell show, like doing the opening for one of the shows. So that a lot of special stuff came out of the first film, especially the friendships I made with Devin, with Tony, who's no longer with us, with Craig Perry, wonderful producer on the project. So I've just made a lot of good friends, over the years, and so many wonderful, talented people working on all the films, from the first one to the latest one. It's just been so cool to meet a lot of the filmmakers, a lot of the actors and actresses, and the crew people who worked on the Final Destination films. And I got to work with Tony on another film, The Final Wish, and it's just been a real blessing. And of course, just the fans. I mean, all praise to the fans. And I know that's not just coming from me. I know, everybody involved in every film is so appreciative of the fans that we've had over the 25 years that have kept it alive. So
It's such a beautiful 25 years too, and I watched the first Final Destination, and then when they did a callback in the previous sequels, when they got on the plane again, who came up with that idea?
I believe that was Craig Perry, our amazing producer. I believe that was his idea. And yeah, he's been like the constant producer since the beginning, and he always makes sure that the films are like tight and cohesive, and he knows the mythology probably more than anybody. It's and just a great guy. So yeah, that was his idea.
Awesome, that was beautiful. And what do you think about all those memes on Facebook and social media about the log truck?
No, it's funny because I came up with that idea. Originally it was going to be a hotel fire that opened the sequel, and the producer was like, "It's okay, but maybe we could come up with something better." And I was driving home to Kentucky, got behind a log truck and pulled it in the next lane, and then it hit me. I was like, "Wait a minute!" And I pulled off the freeway and called the producer, and I was like, "What about a log truck?" He's like, "That's the opening." So yeah. The fact that that's kind of been the iconic thing is really nice because it just ties back into my home state, and feels very karmic for a movie that's about fate and there are no accidents or coincidences. So.
Thank you so much for 25 beautiful years of horror and everything that you've contributed to, everything that you've done. You're such an inspiration.
Hi, Jeffrey Reddick here, the creator of the Final Destination film franchise, and check out my interview on cuties.com.